Hi folks, this is Rick Bell. I'm a professor of history at the University of Maryland. I should tell you that I don't know when you're watching this, but I can tell you when I'm filming it. I am filming it on July the 4th. 2026, although I'm doing it from a hotel room in London, actually, which is where I'm spending July 4th, which is a bit weird. So it seems sort of fitting that I'm going to talk very briefly about the new course I'm running for Berkeley, starting on Tuesdays this October. It's called The Road to Revolution, America 1763 to 1776. And it takes as its start and end point one scene. In 1763, American colonists build and erect a statue to their new hero, King George III, the great English king who's just protected them during the recent global war for empire known as the 7 Years' War, or in America, the French and Indian War. This is a war where American colonists and English redcoats fought shoulder to shoulder against a common enemy, the French and their native allies, and won. So they're building statues of King George III and his heroic Prime Minister William Pitt in cities like New York in 1763. Now fast forward just 13 years later, and in mid-July 1776, that statue of King George III on the Bowling Green in Lower Manhattan will be torn down by angry insurgents calling themselves, you guessed it, patriots. And they will chop up that statue into tiny pieces, melt down the lead into cartridges to fire at the British Army. So the former friends have really parted ways in the most violent way possible. All that happens over just 13 years. This course is going to take you back to the start of that timeline and explain how on earth we get from putting up statues to King George to tearing them down just 13 years later. So we'll talk about the big highlights on the road to revolution. We'll talk about the Stamp Act, the Townshend duties, the Boston Massacre, of course, by British troops stationed in Boston. Then we'll talk about the Boston Tea Party and the British response to that, which was the Intolerable Acts, and then how we get from those Intolerable Acts to actual fighting at Lexington and Concord in April of 1775. And we'll place a particular focus on the lives and experiences of ordinary people, not kings on their thrones, and not necessarily patriot leaders like John Adams and George Washington, but on the ordinary people who would turn these anti-government protests into a genuine mass movement. I hope you'll join me.